Say 6'6".
Oh, I haven't seen it. You'll have to remind me. But, okay. So there's no paper on that. Okay. All right. Where were you Saturday?
For the parade?
No, you count as citizens.
You signed up for the 5K.
You're not counting. Oh, everybody.
In Indianapolis.
There's more than 34.
Oh, wait, not the...
Oh, no.
Talked about that one.
No, not the ugly sweater. No, I ran. I did good. I improved. 48 and a half.
You guys ready?
I think it rained more in Indianapolis than it did here. It wasn't raining, it was pouring.
Good morning. We'll go ahead and call the Tippecanoe County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. The first item on the agenda, if you'll please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, next we have approval of the minutes.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the November 19th minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of those minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right, accounts payable, vouchers, and payroll.
Mr. President, I'd like to recommend the claims from November 20th, 2018 through November 29th, 2018, including the two payrolls dated for November 16th and November 30th, 2018, be approved without exception.
Mr. President, I move for approval as submitted.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right, Area Plan Commission with resolution. Good morning.
The town of Dayton's land use plan is out of date, and this has come up in many rezone petitions, special exception petitions over the years. It's been amended twice, and rezone actions that the town council has taken over the years have kind of gone against it. So politically, I think the winds have shifted a bit. So to try to bring it up to date, more in line with the council's wishes, we urge them to basically ask us to do an amendment to this land use plan and to study it. And not only that, but to study areas just outside the town limits that might likely be annexed by them in the future. And so to that end, we have Exhibit A, I believe, in your packet that shows a map that shows the current kind of western edge of town near the interstate interchange, and then area north, basically with Yost Drive kind of acting as a spine. The town is already looking to actually build Yost Drive and bring it through that area to try to open these areas up for development. So it's very good timing for this effort. So if you have to answer any questions.
So this happened quickly because this was just literally brought up by you at the APC meeting last month.
It was. So yeah, I appreciated the quick turnaround. We sort of asked them, perhaps you should ask town council to urge us to do this. And here we are.
Does this go through all the entities or just Dayton and Tippecanoe County?
It'll just be Dayton and County Commission.
Okay. Yeah. And so they have it on their agenda to hear it as well?
Correct.
Okay.
And this is not unusual. In past iterations of their plan, they did study areas just outside their boundaries because they would likely be annexed. Most recently, that area that was annexed for that new residential subdivision, that was obviously part of the county and was brought in. But in their original land use plan, it was sort of an area set aside for residential expansion of the town. So in that same spirit, that's what this is being proposed.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, sir. Mr. President, I would move that we adopt Resolution 2018-36-CM.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of that resolution. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Mr. President, I move that we hear ordinance 2018-25-CM on second reading, amending Tippecanoe County Code, Chapter 72.
Second.
Clear in the back of the room today, huh?
Thank you. Second reading of
the ordinance that would basically establish speed limits on 300 east, 400 south, and incorporate a series of stop signs at various subdivision locations that we've taken in so far this year. Mike Parks is in the back if you have any questions about the ordinance.
And have you received any feedback?
No.
No, and I have not as well.
No.
Okay. All right, is there anyone here from the audience that would like to speak to this ordinance? Okay. Questions?
No, sir.
Murtaugh,
Yes.
Byers.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ordinance 2018-25 CM passes 3-0 on second and final reading.
All right, and then we have opening of bids for the County Bridge 177 project.
Looks like we have 4 of them. First one is Atlas Excavating. Looks like we've got a total bid of $455,908.94. I've got the right page there. Next one is from Morphe Construction.
It's pretty cold here. Yeah.
One is showing a bid sum in the amount of $389,000. Next one's from Milestone Contractors. One showing a total bid of $357,676.70. The last one's from Ruth Riley. A total bid of $282,812.30.
Recommend take under advisement.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to take those 4 bids under advisement, and they'll be awarded at our next meeting. Thank you to all of you who participated in the bidding process. We appreciate that. All right. Oh, I'm sorry, we do need to vote on taking it under advisement. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That passes. All right, Health Department. Dr. Adler?
Yeah, let me get this here first. Oh, we can get John's password. Start the slides from the beginning. I'll take it for you. Yeah.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for this opportunity to share data and updated information about the Health Department's Gateway to Hope Syringe Service Program. As you know, Gateway to Hope has been operating since August 2017, delivering harm reduction services as an evidence-based response to a local public health emergency due to rising hepatitis C infections in our county. The goals of our program have been to reduce the number of new cases of hepatitis C in our county, prevent an HIV outbreak in Tippecanoe County, provide for safe disposal of syringes, and importantly, serve as a path to treatment by linking participants to vital drug treatment, healthcare, and social services. Our program currently operates out of 3 locations. Our main location is at the Health Department's office on 6th Street. We have 2 mobile locations, one at the Lincoln Center on Salem and 14th Streets, and the other at the IU Arnett office on Greenbush. In 2019, we are planning to move the program from the Health Department to the new Lafayette Transitional Housing Complex on Union and 12th Streets. In addition, we are planning to purchase a new, larger mobile unit to better meet our needs. Our program currently has 337 registered participants. 56% of participants are male, 45% are female. They range in age from 20 to over 60, most falling in the 30 to 39-year-old category. Our participants come from all walks of life. Many of them are employed, and many have health insurance. This slide shows the cumulative data for syringe distribution and collection for 337 participants from August 11th, 2017 to November 15th, 2018. As you can see, the total number of distributed syringes is 40,585, and the total collected 62,209. Underneath each of those numbers is a breakdown of those numbers. Under the distributed column, you can see the number of syringes given out to new participants at their first visit and the number of syringes given out to returning participants. In the collected column, we see the number of syringes collected from program participants, both new participants at their first visit and at return visits, and then also the number of syringes collected through our community drop-off. These are syringes that did not originate as part of our program. They are brought in by anybody in the community who wishes to have dirty syringes disposed of properly. And that number has been rather astounding, a number over 30,000. At the bottom of the slide, I have 2 different calculations for syringe return rate. The first calculation in gold is determined by taking the total number of syringes collected from program participants and dividing it by the total number of syringes distributed, and that is 79.1%. This return rate, as you recall, last year was 52%, and as we predicted, this number has increased gradually over time to its current 79.1%. It should be noted that in this calculation, the denominator, 40,585, includes syringes given out to participants at their first visit, and also includes syringes given out at the end of the reporting period for ongoing harm reduction that have not yet been returned because there had not been an opportunity to return those yet. At the bottom of the screen, I have a second calculation, which is the return rate just involving returning participants, so factoring out those new visit syringes. And this number is 98.7%. This is the return rate that is used by the Indiana State Department of Health as a benchmark for these programs. Statewide, the average for this calculation is 80%, so we are far above that. And as you can see from the other numbers next to it, this percentage has also increased gradually over time, and interestingly, at times has been over 100%, meaning that our returning participants are actually bringing in more syringes than they're taking out.
So, Dr. Adler, where does the 30,104 number come from on that last calculation?
If you look at under the total collected, underneath that.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, 30,104 at return visits brought in.
Okay, so it does not take into account the first-time visits?
Correct.
Okay,
correct.
Okay. Thank you.
As I mentioned, our program also provides other valuable services to participants. One of those services is testing for hepatitis C and HIV. 85% of our participants have been tested for hepatitis C, and 82% have been tested for HIV. We also provide a large number of other services, and I apologize, the data headings did not show up well on the screen here, but I can go through those. Mainly, we have provided over 400 referrals to substance abuse treatment programs. We have an on-site recovery coach who is available for counseling and assistance at our program. We've also provided hundreds of STD tests, immunizations, help with housing and food, education, and provided well over 600 doses of Narcan, which is the life-saving opioid overdose antidote. Another aspect of our program has been the community cleanup. We have a group of Community and Medical Reserve Corps volunteers who go out into various neighborhoods in the community looking for dirty syringes. Between August 11th, 2017 and September 30th, 2018, they've actually only found 9 syringes, but they have collected 81 bags of garbage. This next slide is probably the most important of all the slides I'll be showing today. And this is the number of new hepatitis C cases in Tippecanoe County from 2011 onward. And as you can see, there was a dramatic increase in hepatitis C cases from 2014 to 2017. That's what led to the formation of this program. We are encouraged to see that the preliminary data for 2018 shows a lower number of hepatitis C cases, just 87 compared to last year's 176. Now, this data is preliminary for January 1st through November 14th. The year is not over, so we do expect the number to increase, but it appears that we will likely be on track to have far fewer new cases of hepatitis C this year than we did last year or maybe even the year before. We think that this is a very promising indicator that our program is on the right track and that we are making an impact in terms of stopping the spread of disease in Tippecanoe County. This next slide shows similar data for HIV. We have been very fortunate in Tippecanoe County to have low numbers of new cases of HIV. So one of our program's goals has been to help keep this number low. And as you can see, we think we're on track for doing this also. Again, the data for 2018 is preliminary, January 1st through November 14th. Before wrapping up, I did want to share 2 additional pieces of data that I think are pertinent to our program. One comes from Senator Ron Alting's 2018 constituent survey. Question number 7 on the survey was, in an attempt to reduce the spread of disease, Tippecanoe County has recently implemented a needle exchange program. Do you support or oppose the needle exchange program in Tippecanoe County? 70% of respondents support and only 30% were in opposition. In October of this year, a significant research study about Scott County, Indiana was published in one of the world's leading medical journals, The Lancet. As many of you are aware, Scott County was the epicenter for a terrible HIV outbreak a few years ago due to the sharing of needles and injection equipment. In Scott County, public health officials had noticed several years prior to the HIV outbreak that there had been an hepatitis C outbreak in that community. And they actually had recommended several years before their HIV outbreak that a syringe exchange program be started. However, that request was rejected. And the researchers in this study have determined that the number of HIV infections in Scott County could have been reduced from 215 to fewer than 56 if officials had acted in 2013, or fewer than 10 if officials had responded to the hepatitis C outbreak in 2010 to 2011. So we think this is a further indication that what we're doing here in Tippecanoe County is the right thing, and we are not only addressing our hepatitis C issue, but also preventing an HIV outbreak. So in conclusion, we feel that our program data is strong and show that our program is making an impact in terms of stopping the spread of disease and also helping to get individuals on the path to treatment and recovery. Therefore, I'd like to request that our program be renewed. Thank you for your time. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I guess I'll ask the first question on the bottom line there. Path to treatment. Are we seeing results? Are we getting, I mean, that was my main thing to have this, is try and get the help to them. What are we seeing by there?
Yeah, I think we are. Treating addiction is not easy. It takes time. As you can see, it takes many attempts to get people into treatment programs, to get them into the right programs. There's often relapses and remissions, but we think that we are on the right track. We've had some success stories where people have been able to get into treatment and basically beat their addiction.
And probably not enough beds to be able to put enough people in, or are we?
That has been an issue in certain cases, yes.
And Dr. Adler, I have two questions. One on, would you consider, the information that was shared as of September 30th compared to the information that's shared today that's through November 15th?
Correct.
There was a slight drop from 79.8% return rate to 79.1. Is there any, what would be the reason for that drop in the return rate?
It's such a small drop that I'm not sure if there's really any significance to it. It's probably just the ebb and the flow of syringes being given out and returned. And
my next question is, so there's been a 14% increase in participation, right? And these are, again, based on the December 30th. And maybe you had it up there. I just didn't catch what it is through November 15th.
It's 337 participants.
Okay, but that represents, what, a 15% or 16% increase or something?
Over the last quarter, yes.
Yeah, okay. So what's the percentage of increase since the beginning, since 2017? Would you know that number?
I don't recall how many participants we had at the end of 2017. I can get that information for you.
Okay. But those would be, whatever that number is those who would be tested and be counted in the new Hep C column, correct? Because the others have been counted. So wouldn't we expect the number of Hep Cs to drop significantly because we're testing far fewer people as new cases?
So the data for the new hepatitis C cases for the county is for the entire county, not just for participants in this program. So we actually are probably as a county testing more people now than we were before, because these are individuals who may not have ever been tested otherwise.
Okay. Okay. But that still would make some sense, though, right? That we're testing fewer people, right?
No, we're actually testing more people as a county.
Okay. Yeah. But we're testing fewer people than we did in 17, is what I'm saying.
No, because our program in 2017 was only operational from August through December. So this year we've had 11 and a half months, so we've tested more people this year than we have last year.
Okay. So do we know how many were identified by Gateway to Hope versus the statewide thing?
I do not have that information. Okay. We can get that for you.
Okay. All right.
So those test results are coming both from Gateway to Hope and through the State Department of Health.
Yeah, the data that I showed today is actually all from the State Department of Health, because hepatitis C is a reportable disease by law. So wherever it is diagnosed, it has to be reported to the State Department of Health.
And are your numbers automatically rolled into that number?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that is that's the best. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Best number that
we report our positive results to the state.
When we get to the end of this year, how long will it be before we have the final numbers from the state on 2018? Are those reported real time, or is there a lag?
There is a lag in terms of getting the final confirmed number for the year. So I would expect we'll have the final count for 2018 probably in March of 2019. Usually takes about 3 months.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Dr. Adler?
Well, I just want to comment, it looks like you're moving the entire facility out of 629 to Lafayette Transitional Housing, or is that just becoming another stopping point?
No, we'll be moving, we'll be stopping the program
Service.
at 629 and moving that to Lafayette Transitional Housing.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there anyone from the audience who'd like to speak in regard to this? Thank you. John, do we have a sign-up sheet?
Yes.
Okay. If you could please put your name and, what's it asking for, name and address, John? Yeah. Just, and then also state your name for the record.
Are we asking for 3 minutes?
3 minutes, yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name's Elizabeth Mork. I live at 644 North 7th Street, and I'm a member of Centennial Neighborhood, member of the board of Centennial Neighborhood, and I was also asked by the mayor to serve on the Tippecanoe County Board of Health as a representative from the neighborhood, so that we would be involved, hopefully, in some of this. As you know, there have been concerns from the neighborhood. We're very happy to see that there is a plan to move it. I don't really think the neighborhood didn't support the idea of the needle exchange for the most part. There may have been a few people here and there that had concerns about it. But I think overall we supported the program, just not the location, since it was in an area where there are a lot of single-family homes. We've really been trying to, revitalize Centennial Neighborhood. So we do support moving it to Lafayette Transitional Housing, and the mobile unit that I've been told should be coming up and running this summer. So I can't speak on behalf of the board of the neighborhood because we didn't technically take a vote, but I did want to speak and say that I have no issue with continuing the program. I support it, and I'm very happy about the plans to move it to a different location. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Hello, my name is Anthony Haddad, and I am a third-year professional student at the Purdue College of Pharmacy. The syringe service program is essential in reducing public cost of healthcare. These services exist to prevent the viral transmission that may lead to HIV and hepatitis C. An argument exists that the syringe services program significantly puts heavy tax burden onto the taxpayers. However, I would like to put some real numbers to that notion. A review of a 3-year study investigating the effect of New York's legalization of the syringe exchange programs between the years 1990 and 2002, 194 HIV infections were averted in 1 year. A lifetime treatment cost savings of $75.8 million, and HIV prevalence went from 50% to 17%. An annual cost for running the Gateway to Hope is approximately less than $40,000. All of this money is privately funded. No taxpayer money is used. In contrast, the cost to treat one case of hepatitis C may range up to $100,000 per patient. For an Indiana Medicaid patient, this would cost the taxpayer that money. To summarize, the costs are minimal and the benefits are evident. I urge the county to renew the service program. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else?
Mr. President, I move that we approve Resolution 2018-35-CM, extension of the syringe exchange program.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. I don't know if anyone wants to make any comments, but I know I would. Obviously, you know, I've had a hard time with this particular issue. This is probably what I've struggled with more than any other issue we've dealt with as I've been in this office. And it's obviously not an issue of the problem is there. I mean, we all know the problem is there. You know, I've served on the Community Mental Health and Substance Abuse Forum, and you know, I see the efforts that are being made within the community to make some real strides within this problem. There's a lot of work yet to go. What concerns me about this program is, you know, the enabling end of it. And you know, I asked Dr. Adler last year at this time when we were renewing the program what success would look like to him. And to your credit and to the Gateway to Hope's credit, you mentioned that it would be a decrease in the Hep C rate. We've seen that. You asked, and that the return rate be as close to 100%, pretty close to 100%. And depending on which number you're looking at, you're pretty much right there. I have in my personal life, I've actually had an occasion where I ran into a recovering addict who has become a good friend, and I had a number of conversations with him, and he personally opposes this program, stating that, you know, this is not, you know, that someone who is addicted to substance that doesn't go and seek treatment until they've hit rock bottom, and they often don't hit rock bottom by having programs like this in place until a later time. So I still have fundamental concerns about the fact that these kits are being given out and what they contain, and that they're being given out to everybody that that ask for them, regardless of age, regardless of you know, whether they're female and pregnant, so on and so forth. And I still can't shake that. So I still am, and my conscience will not let me vote in favor of this. Is there any other comment?
Yeah, I would just like to begin by saying that as we started this discussion, I was reminded of a quote by a judge from Scott County who visited one of our forums many, many months ago when we started on this endeavor. And it was what he said to himself every time that he entered into a discussion about a syringe services program, and that was two words: harm reduction. That is what we set out for. And I guess while I appreciate Commissioner Murtaugh's his stand on this, it has not been an easy decision for me over many, many months, but it is but a piece of addressing the overall issue in the community. And I continue to support the work of our health department, and I applaud your efforts, because this is something that started many, many months ago, and it was a goal that was set out, and I know how very hard the staff and the folks that are involved in this, boots on the ground, if you will, on a day-to-day basis, have worked to bring us to where we are today, and I know we'll have continued success. So.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And I'll vote to oppose, so the motion passes 2-1. Okay, thank you, and thank you for everybody's input today. All right, and then Craig, you're handling the memorandum of understanding?
That was close. I almost didn't have to do this. Just kidding. Yes, and so what's been alluded to earlier on is we do have a memo of understanding between Lafayette transitional housing and the Tippecanoe County Health Department for both, and office space, and then also some use of their outside for the mobile clinic. It's been lawyered up, and so I'm assuming meaning Doug's approval. So we're excited, and obviously as soon as this is built, we're ready to go.
Great.
It should make everyone happy.
I'm only smiling because the term lawyered up means something entirely different to me. I would move that we approve the MOU as presented with Lafayette Transitional Housing Center.
Second.
And remind me again, their anticipated completion date is September?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Okay. We have a motion and a second for the approval of that memorandum of understanding. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? That passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Community corrections. Good morning, Jason.
Before you is a agreement with KS State Bank to finance our body cameras that we'd like to purchase. I want to thank Doug for all his ongoing work to get this to this point. It's been a little tedious to say the least. It's just for $7,200 a year for the next 5 years,
So
for a total of $36,000. Go ahead.
you actually have, there's actually two agreements. The first one is the actual purchase agreement for the body cameras, and the supplier there is Utility Associates, Inc., and the total on that's $36,000. And then the next agreement is the financing agreement with KS State Bank, which is $7,200 a year for 5 years.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the body camera purchase agreement with Utility Associates, Inc. in the amount of $36,000.
Before I second, Kent, you had some questions about storage and such. Have you talked with the IT about? Yeah, video storage and things like that. Have you guys figured that out? Because you were trying to ask questions about.
All the video storage should be done by their company. We shouldn't have any issues with that.
Okay.
Stored on the cloud.
Yes.
Okay. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for the approval of the body camera purchase agreement. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you.
And then we have the financing agreement with Kansas State Bank.
Mr.
Is that
President, I would move.
or is it
This is KS State
Okay.
Bank.
Okay.
I would move for approval of the financing agreement for the same project with KS State Bank in the amount of $7,200 a year for 5 years.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
That passes. Thank you. All right, new positions. Pat. Good morning.
Good morning. I wore my festive tie for you. This is a request for the creation of division chiefs within my department. I submitted this first back in July 26th. I submitted a document for your review. If you would like, I can read it in the record, but if not, I will just skip that formality since you reviewed it and answer any questions you might have.
I just want to make sure we're on the same page, Pat, because we're at the same meeting. We're basically going to create 3 division chiefs, correct?
Correct.
We're going to eliminate 2 supervisor positions.
Correct.
So we're actually adding 1 new person.
Correct.
Retitling 2 others.
Correct.
Okay. And your 1 and 4D will still stay the same as a supervisor.
Correct.
Okay. And as for price, council has that figured out.
Except the salary.
Yeah.
You make a good lawyer.
Lawyered up.
That's scary.
I lawyered up something. All right, so theoretically, this motion would be, Mr. President, I move that we create the 3 new division chiefs with the elimination of the 2 supervisors postings.
Positions, okay.
Positions, sorry.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second, and that motion is to create the 3 new division chief positions and eliminate 2 supervisor positions.
Right.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir.
Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have 2 surety bond renewals.
Jennifer Marie couldn't make it.
For Jennifer Marie Weston and Shannon Sue Withers.
I would move that we approve both as presented.
Second.
We have a motion, second. Anything you need to add?
Thank you.
All right. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes. All right, Sharon, grants.
Morning.
Good morning.
Busy world in the grants today. Youth Services, Carrie Holmes would like to apply for grants, the JETA funding of $60,000 for the period of July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020 for the funds to continue the Teen Brain trainings, community engagement with Lafayette Police Department, substance abuse and parent-children mediation services, as well as the teen court back on track individualized programming for this period. There is no match for the county in this program.
Mr. President, I move that we grant permission to apply as stated.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Thank you. They also have an IDOC funding for $246,637 to cover the juvenile community-based programming, which is day reporting, home-based treatment, truancy, mediation, school justice partnership, and evidence-based programs groups. And that, again, will cover from July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2020, and there is no match for this one as well.
Mr. President, I'd move that we approve or give permission to apply for the grant for IDOC in the amount of $246,637.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
And CASA will be applying for $56,945 from the CASA for Kids funds to provide funding to continuing the 2 part-time staff advocates and assisting the children of Tippecanoe County. It's a renewable grant that covers the salary, FICA, and small amounts of reimbursable mileage.
Mr. President, I move the grant permission to apply as stated.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Then we have permission to accept the grant. Amanda wants to let you know about the STD grant and Kayla that they received from the state.
Good morning. We received a grant from the state. It's a continuation of our STD grant. So the grant will actually run from January 1st of 2018 to March 31st of 2020. The total amount is going to be $176,092. That's $111,092 added on to our $65,000 from 2018. That will allow us for a full-time with benefits and a part-time disease intervention specialist.
Which will increase our services in the community. Right now, we're one of the only low-income testing sites. We cannot keep up currently. We're turning people away. So starting next year, we'll be able to operate the STD clinic daily and also do outreach in the community.
We'll be going to some testing sites. One of the testing sites that we're partnering with is Home with Hope. We met with them, and so they will be one of our testing sites that we'll be able to go out to a couple times a month to test.
Okay. And I'm sorry, dollar amount was $176,000? Is that right?
It's a continuation, so it's an extra $111,092 from our already $65,000.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move that we grant permission to accept for the Health Department as stated.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
The other grant that we need to accept today would be the Master Utility Planning Grant that the commissioners received from Okra. It's been awarded to the commissioners for the purpose of looking at the possibilities for the Buck Creek area, Americus and Colburn. And that is like I said, a grant through Okra.
Is that 50,000?
Yes.
Mr. President, I would move that we accept the grant from Okra for the Master Utility Planning Grant for Buck Creek.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? That passes.
Last I have, Youth Services has a MOU contract to renew the contracts with Indiana Department of Children's Services for billing of services as a licensed Indiana residential treatment service provider with obligations regarding children placed by DCS or probation department. The renewal contract is for an additional period of 1 year and shall terminate on December 31st, 2019. The original contract was signed with DCS on 12/27/2016.
And this is an electronic contract?
Correct.
Okay.
That you need to sign.
Okay.
Mr. President, I move that we accept this MOU contract with Youth Services as stated.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, that passes. All right, thank you. We'll move on to unfinished and new business. I
So
understand.
can I start?
Yes.
Is that unfinished
Yes.
new business?
Yes.
So I'd like to present Brian Tennyson and Kate Daughtry, Daughtry, and Smokey Andersons are going to come up. These two citizens of Tippecanoe County have officially been certified from the International Association of Emergency Managers with their CEM, and we'd like to present them with their award. This was funded through a grant that we received, that the commissioners received. So if they come up, I'd like to get a picture with them. You guys want to stand down here with them?
We would love to.
Yeah, didn't know about this. Thank you.
I can tell by the look on your face. You didn't like it.
Thank you.
You have to get a photo.
All right. All right.
One more time here. And just one for good time.
Here's a couple of them.
All right, is there any other unfinished or new business? Okay. Reports on file. It looks like I have a report from the Tippecanoe County Building Commission, and that's it. It'll be on file in the Commissioner's office. Is there any public comment?
Move to adjourn.
We're adjourned. Thank you.